excited as Christmas Day approaches? Well, let me tell you what happened on the very first Christmas, long, long ago. Mary and Joseph had to travel to Bethlehem because the Roman government told everyone to go to the town where they were born so that they could register for a census. Lots of people had made their way to Bethlehem that day. There was quite a buzz in the town as people arrived and the visitors found places to stay. Everyone would need to fill in the census. People had to come from far and near, and little did they know that something was going to happen that very night that would make the town famous forever. It was a long journey for Mary and Joseph, all the way from Nazareth to Bethlehem. They would arrive late, but Joseph still hoped they would be able to find a room. Mary was expecting a very special baby, and Joseph wanted to make sure that she was settled for the night. At last, Bethlehem was in sight. It was going to be dark soon, and they quickly needed to find a place to stay. They arrived in Bethlehem, and the streets were quiet now, as most people had turned in for the night. Joseph stopped outside the Bethlehem Hotel. But there were no rooms left. Joseph and Mary moved on. They could see another place to try just next door. There was a lady standing outside. This looked more hopeful. Joseph asked the lady, "Do you have a room for the night, please?" "Oh, sorry, sir. We're all full up. Every room is taken," she said. The lady watched as Joseph and Mary moved down the street. Joseph was now very concerned. It was getting late, and they still hadn't found a room. Then Joseph spotted somewhere else at the end of the street. It seemed to have lots of rooms there. But oh dear, when they arrived, the sign by the door said they were full up too. There was nowhere else to look. What were they to do? Surely someone had a place where they could stay for the night. Mary was very tired after their long journey, so Joseph decided to knock the door of the inn anyway. The innkeeper answered the door, and Joseph told him that Mary was expecting a baby and that they had been travelling all day. Could he just possibly squeeze them in? Any room would do. The innkeeper shook his head and pointed to the no room sign. He just couldn't help them. Joseph turned away, wondering how he was going to find somewhere for Mary to sleep. Suddenly, the innkeeper's wife appeared. She felt sorry for them and shouted to Joseph that although they were full up, she could offer them a place in the stable, but they would have to share it with the animals. Joseph was so relieved that at last they had somewhere to stay. He gladly accepted this kind offer. The innkeeper and his wife showed them the stable. There were indeed animals there, but Joseph was just so pleased that Mary would have a roof over her head and somewhere to rest after their long journey. With the stable doors shut, Mary and Joseph settled down for the night. And what a night it was going to be! A night that would change the world forever. As Bethlehem slept, Mary's baby was born, and she called his name Jesus. This was the name the angel who had visited Mary many months earlier had told her to give to the child. They had no cradle or Moses basket, so they wrapped up Jesus in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger. Meanwhile, out on the Bethlehem hills, another incredible thing was about to happen. There were shepherds watching over their flocks. The shepherds kept an eye out for wild animals. They also took it in turns to sleep. Without any warning, suddenly a bright light shone all around them, and an angel appeared in the sky. At first, the shepherds were terrified with fright. What was happening? They froze as they gazed up at this incredible sight. The angel spoke to them. "Don't be afraid. I've come with good news of great joy to you and all people. The Saviour, Jesus, has been born this very night in Bethlehem. Here's a sign for you. You will find the baby wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a manger." Then the sky was filled with a multitude of angels, praising and glorifying God and shouting out peace to all men. The angels disappeared, leaving the shepherds absolutely shocked at what they had just seen and heard. They all agreed that they must hurry to Bethlehem to see the newborn baby. But who would stay with the sheep? The shepherds discussed who would stay, but they all wanted to go. Finally, they agreed that if an angel had told them to go to Bethlehem, then they should all go, and they were sure the sheep would be okay. The shepherds set off, and as they walked, they started wondering between them how they would find one special baby in a town full of people. There would no doubt be many babies, so how would they find Jesus? Then one of the shepherds remembered what the angel had said. "Hey guys, don't you remember? The angel gave us a sign. He said we would find the baby all wrapped up and lying in a manger. There may be lots of babies in Bethlehem tonight, but there will only be one lying in a manger. And where do you find a manger? In a room with animals." They came into Bethlehem and quickly started looking out for a place where animals would be kept. "There, look, right at the end of the street," shouted one of the shepherds. "There's a stable with a light on." They hurried to the stable. How excited they were as they thought about the special message from the angels and the baby they were about to see. Into the stable they went, and there, just as the angel had told them, was baby Jesus, all wrapped up in strips of cloth, lying in a manger. They were thrilled to have been chosen to see this very special baby. The shepherds spent some time with Mary, Joseph and Jesus before leaving. What a night! The most amazing night! Jesus, the Saviour of the world, had been born. The shepherds returned to their sheep, glorifying and praising God for all they had seen and heard. They spread the good news of Jesus' birth to everyone they met. So that was what happened on that very first Christmas. And sometime later, 3 wise men were led by a star to meet Jesus. But that is another story. As you celebrate Christmas this year, take time to remember that God so loved the world, so much so that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him may not die, but have life that never ends. Now, that's something to celebrate.